At one point, this was a top secret military base.
It was. I mean, they were making modifications to warplanes in wartime. So.
Yeah.
Before becoming a private pilot, for over a decade, we would drive through this desert numerous times a year for family visits. And we were completely oblivious that less than a mile north of the interstate was a very historic airport. And today we're getting in early to hopefully leave before the summer heat really shows up by the afternoon.
Daggett traffic over 19039er Hotel, 14 miles southwest, inbound for left traffic, 26 full stop, Daggett.
So today's route would be pretty straightforward, but once again, we'd be departing IFR out of Corona because of that June gloom that's been covering SoCal. But it makes for excellent practice for some real IMC flying. We'd then fly over the San Bernardino Mountains, and once in the high desert, I'd cancel IFR since it would be clear skies at our destination. So this is our second time visiting this airport, and the first time we came was strictly because we had never been. We were not expecting much but a desolate airport in the middle of the desert. But wow, we were completely wrong, and as soon as we approached the airport the first time, we could hear military traffic on the radios, and we started looking everywhere. We fly over the airport to set up for a teardrop entry. We look down and we see rows of Black Hawks, and some with the rotors spinning. So we knew some action was about to happen. We just thought, oh my God, this is so cool. Now we would come to find out later, it was much more common than we thought. We would also find out that there is a lot of history here, and that there is a reason why it has such unique set of hangars that we've never seen anywhere else. We would also visit the pilot's lounge, which surprisingly we didn't do the first time. And we'd be definitely on the lookout for hopefully some more helicopter action as we fly into Barstow-Daggett Airport in Daggett, California.
Daggett traffic arrow 19039er Hotel, 8 miles southwest, inbound for left traffic, 26 full stop, Daggett.
Daggett Airport is non-towered with two runways, 0422 at a little over 5,100 feet and 0826 at about 6,400 feet with airport elevation just shy of 2,000 feet. Now the runways are angled to each other, but they do not intersect. But if you're landing runway 0826 like we're doing today, just make sure you call out that you're going to cross runway 0422 if you're taxiing on taxiway Charlie. Now, probably one of the more confusing departures is runway 04 because its departure in is adjacent to 0826. So just make sure if you say you are departing 04 that you don't depart 08 on Alpha 3 intersection by accident, especially if someone is on final for 26. Now, why would someone be landing 26 if the winds are favoring 04? Well, at our home airport of Corona, we've literally seen while walking the airport, someone on final for 07 while someone taxied onto runway 25 for a straight out departure. And yes, Corona only has one runway, so weird things do happen, so stay vigilant. Now, what can justifiably cause one pilot to depart one runway and another pilot to land the opposite? Well, the winds, of course. And for those who have been watching our last couple of videos, know two things. First, intersecting runways most likely mean winds in different directions. And B, yes, I know I said first and B. And B, the desert winds can be both strong and can quickly change directions. And it's exactly that quick change in wind direction that can cause two aircraft to utilize opposite runways. Now, the first time we visited, we landed on runway 08, and 30 minutes later, incoming traffic landed on 26. But to be fair, winds were variable that day. Either way, keep an eye and ear out for traffic because, as a reminder out here, ADSB or radios are not required. Finally, let's talk about the heat. Because with the elevation of the airport at nearly 2,000 feet, that means with peak summer temperatures averaging 115 degrees, density altitude will be at least 6,000 feet. We would depart today with temps at about 91 degrees, and Hannah did really well on the climb, partly due to the thermals lifting us up on departure. But it was miserable in the plane while we waited to get our IFR release, which we'll discuss a little bit more later.
Daggett traffic, error 1903 Niner Hotel on a 3 mile 45 for left traffic, 26 full stop, Daggett.
Now, as we approach, let's talk about those instrument approaches into here, which consist of our nav GPS for runway 22 and 26, and a VOR approach for runway 22. Now, even if you don't use these approaches ever, just know that students definitely use it to practice. So if you're in the area, it would probably be wise to listen on the CTAF to make sure you stay clear of that traffic, since the approach can start as high as 6,100 feet. And even better if you're talking to either LA Center or Joshua Approach.
Daggett traffic, arrow 39er Hotel, entering left downwind for 26, Daggett.
Now, one thing we've never discussed are IFR departures. But since today we would need to do one since it was forecasted to still be overcast at home, it seems a proper time. Here at Daggett Airport, it has the Daggett 1 departure, which consists of making a right turn if departing to the west to a 090 heading until intercepting the Daggett VOR radio 224. Then direct Daggett VOR. And if you're departing to the east, on departure, direct to the Daggett VOR. And once reaching the VOR, proceed on course per the instructions and clearance you were given from LA Center. Now, even though I'm telling you our obstacle departure for today, always make sure you read the plates as they can change at any time.
Daggett traffic, arrow 39 Hotel, turning left base 26, Daggett.
So to get our clearance, we called the phone number on the plates. So we cannot confirm if we could have used the radios on the ground. Either way, make sure you study that departure before calling for your release.
Daggett traffic, arrow 39er Hotel, turning final for 26, Daggett.
Oh, and one last note. We are used to calling to get clearance on the ground in Corona before we even pull Hannah out of the hangar. Then we call for our release from Chino once we're in the run-up. But here, you will call for both clearance and release while holding short of the runway, which is not a big deal unless it's hot. Our release took about 10 minutes, so stay hydrated. Alright, so as we come into land, a little history. Daggett Airport was built in 1928 and it served as a mail plane fuel stop in the 20s and 30s. But then those 40s came around. And of course, it all changed for the war effort. In 1942, the War Department took over the airport and constructed the Douglas Aircraft Modification Center, which consisted of unique hangar sheds, which today we'll tour the last remaining one, Hangar Shed number 4. It was in operation until the middle of 1944 when the Army Air Forces deactivated the project. According to an excerpt from San Bernardino's website, there was no evidence of a lease ever being executed with Douglas aircraft. So it was highly possible they occupied the airport without any written agreement.
Barstow-Daggett traffic, Mercier 2 is about 9 miles to the southeast, going to be landing directly to the FBO, Barstow-Daggett.
Now, usually we're really happy to see Mercier. We had the pleasure of speaking to a crew back when we visited Inyo Kern Airport, but unfortunately today they were not here for fuel or a break. They were here for an emergency call. So how can a lease not be executed? Well, in 1951, the San Bernardino Daily Sun reported that the lease between the Marine Corps and the county had been renewed, but during a site visit, airport personnel said the county obtained control of the airport in 1958.
Daggett traffic, Aero 1939er Hotel, clear up 26, Daggett.
But all the records were destroyed in a fire in the 60s, so it remained unclear who actually owned the airfield between 1946 and 1958. But it's agreed that from 1958 to today, San Bernardino County owns the airport. Today, it contains a U.S. Army aviation facility that houses several UH-60 Blackhawks and LUH-72 Lakota helicopters that operate under the Fort Irwin National Training Center Aviation Company that is based 27 miles north at Fort Irwin, and we'll discuss a little more about what they do here on the ground.
Daggett traffic, Aero 1939er Hotel, crossing runway 0422 at Charlie, Daggett.
Now, is there transient parking here? Definitely. Are there tie downs? Maybe. We did see tie down hooks, but as we'll show, they are pretty difficult to get a hook through. And as I write this, winds are 300 at 18, gusting 28 at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which definitely are conditions I'd only trust parking with our plane strapped down.
Barstow-Daggett traffic, Mercier 2 is 3.5 to the southeast, landing directly to the FBO, Barstow-Daggett.
Oh, and we advise to remain clear of the northeast ramps, as that is where the military stages before taking off.
Daggett traffic, Aero 39 Hotel, clear of runway 22, Daggett.
Now, as far as transportation, don't expect to have rideshare here, but we'll share where you can find a business card for a taxi service and the pilot's lounge, which of course we'll put in the description below. So I did mention earlier that military traffic is more common than we had initially thought. Now, the only statistics that we could find go back to 2006, which had general aviation at 51% and military at 49%, which I don't see being very far off even today.
Barstow-Daggett traffic, Mercier 2 is going to be short final for the FBO ramp. Barstow-Daggett.
As I said earlier, Mercier is coming in for a patient, unfortunately, but we're so glad that these crews exist because they truly save lives and sometimes flying in some tough conditions in the desert. We hope to never need them, but we're so glad to know they exist. So a big thanks to this crew for taking care of this patient today.
Daggett traffic, Mercier 2, we are short final for the FBO. I got the taxi traffic in sight. I am picking up a patient.
And this is another reminder of why you should always be listening to traffic, because This is not a fixed wing, this is a helicopter which can land anywhere, and the last thing you want to do is be in their way. And we respectfully waited to film until all the emergency services had left.
I'll be completely honest with you guys. This airport, I was like, whatever. Irene's been wanting to come back forever. I admittedly told her, yeah, we're not gonna go back there. But honestly, like the more we keep doing these desert airports, the more fascinating they are. Like they have some crazy history. And the first time we came, we didn't even know that there is that connection with all these airports in Southern California desert.
There's military here.
Yeah, there is definitely military here. The first time we came, what happened?
We were just landing and we were taxiing back, and there were 2 Blackhawks on this ramp just over there. And they were making radio calls, getting ready to take off. And it was awesome. I mean, we were so close to them.
Yeah.
And it was just cool to see them in action. I mean, I know, we live in Southern California. There's military aircraft all the time, but it's just so cool to be up close and sharing an airport with them, especially a small one like this one.
Yeah,
So.
we were joking it's like a black ops site. It's not. It just looked like that. But they do a lot of cool training. We'll let you guys know way more about it. A couple of things we want to do. What were we thinking of doing today?
So I know that there's a lot of World War II history at this particular airport. One of the big buildings that was built during World War II is still standing, so we want to take a closer look at that. I think there is a pilot's lounge, FBO, kind of behind us.
Yeah.
We're going to take a look at the fuel island.
The fuel island, just to make sure it works, because a couple of people on 4 flights said it never works. So we're going to go find out if it works today. Notably about Fort Irwin, which is to our, I guess, east, is that it used to be called
Camp Irwin?
Right. And which was connected to, I am pretty sure it's going to be last week's airport, Chiriaco Summit.
Okay, the Desert Training Center.
Right? It's all connected.
I believe so, yeah.
All the stuff we told you for that one, fingers crossed, we told you. Because we haven't done that video yet at this point. But there's so much history with that one that yeah, it's part of the Desert Training Center. All right, so let's go. So it looks like it's working today, but people on 4 flight were saying that it hadn't been working. We did see a NOTAM. Let me check the NOTAMs. Last 30 days says fuel not available. It's last 30 days. I don't know if it's actually active. So, but today it looks like they do have fuel. So just know this side is Jet A. It's got big letters that say Jet A. And then over there, it's 100 low that. Just look for the green.
Now, if you happen to come between the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day, you might get a chance to meet Nick, who is so helpful and courteous. Got to spend some time talking to him about the patches, some historical photos, and generally just how busy the airport can get at certain times. So thanks, Nick, for being so helpful.
So it looks like they have bathrooms, some Wi-Fi. Oh, there's a pilot briefing area. Nice. They have a visitor logbook.
They have a what?
A visitor's logbook.
Oh, are you gonna log in?
Yeah. The last time someone was here was, what's today? On the 4th. Beyonce was here. Oh, 227 Tango Foxtrot. Yeah, that's a home airport. Oh, and Jared got your business information now. And if you guys don't know, Jared is actually the maintenance supervisor for, I believe it's this airport, Needles, and 29 Palms. And he actually reached out on the 29 Palms video and gave us a little extra information. But you're doing a great job, Jared. If you come here and you need to ride somewhere, it looks like they have this, we found this business card and we'll put it on the description. And it's for, this is called Barstow Rides Taxi Service. So I'm assuming because this business card's here, that they'll be available to pick you up. Uber, Lyft, I think we read that on ForeFlight. They are really hard to come by here. So make sure you look in the description for this information. Maybe they'll be a little bit more reliable for you guys when you come. It is hot. We're here at this structure, and excuse the wind, it's just a little breezy here, but it feels amazing. It's already probably 80 degrees. But this structure is actually an original World War II hangar structure. The funny thing is about it is that it's only really like, I guess, a quarter of a structure? Like a quarter of a hangar, half a hangar?
Yeah, because like one side's open.
Yeah, they seriously considered this to be already toppled over, but it still stands and it's 2025 now. So they must have built it really, really well.
I think they said that they have in parts, like maybe reinforced the structure a little bit.
Oh.
But just pieces here and there. It didn't sound like there was any plans to like completely refurbish it
or renovate it
or make sure that it would last.
Yeah.
I think the exact wording was that they believed it would blow over in the next major wind event.
I mean, there is something to be said that it's still standing after 83 years. It's still standing. It's like the pyramids.
Made out of wood.
Made out of wood. And it's not triangle.
So not like the pyramids at all.
Not like the pyramids.
And there's one standing up right there.
Make sure you guys have your tetanus shot. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That would suck.
That would suck big time.
So maybe we don't want to walk back here.
Yeah, let's go back. Oh, there you go.
So the hangar is designed this way because during World War II, this airport was used as an auxiliary field for Douglas. Douglas, their main manufacturing plant, was located in Santa Monica. I think we covered that in our Santa Monica video just a little bit.
Yeah.
And those planes at the time were coming out at such a rapid rate, and they needed to be specifically modified for their specific missions that they were going on, or specific training. And it was too labor intensive and time intensive to do it at the main plant. One of the plane types that they would bring out here were P-51s. And they would bring them in here and they would put them in nose first. And this is what they would use, what they called their modification hangar. So they would come out here and they would park them and modify them on this site. I want to say it was 36 planes they could fit nose in.
Okay.
But I feel like more could fit. I don't know, we're at number 13 here.
Oh, okay.
But I want to say it was 36.
And we're like halfway.
So,
No, there's still more on the other side of that barn.
Okay.
So yeah, you're probably right.
And they would modify them here, and then they would leave from this specific site and then go somewhere else to be test flown.
So over there is the 2916th Aviation Battalion. We're not gonna test how close we can get. We're just gonna stay over here. Okay, so those are the Desert Hawks right there.
Yeah, the Black Hawks are the Desert Hawks.
Okay, and then the Sokols are the...
They fly what they call the bruised bananas.
Bruised bananas.
Which are the, I think they're the Lakotas that have the yellow and brown kind of color scheme.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think we've seen them
seen it,
before.
yeah.
They're parked further back.
Oh. But yeah, this is where we saw the Blackhawks take off the first time we came.
So Fort Irwin is a national training center for the Army. And actually all branches of military, I think, train there, other government agencies, and even some foreign military come out to train out here in the desert at Fort Irwin. And they have a couple of squadrons that actually live or are based out at Fort Irwin. And they are the opposing force squadrons that act as, I guess, like the aggressors, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think they said there's 10 units that come through each year that rotate through Fort Irwin with about 50 to 60,000 soldiers every year.
The toughest part about here is what makes it so great for training is because of the winds, the dust, the heat.
Yeah.
And they're doing that in helicopter. And you said someone said it was like the hardest place to train.
Yeah. There's a lot of wind and dust storms. And so you can be completely browned out in the middle of a day and it looks like it's dark. And they're usually flying so very low.
Right.
And so, yeah, they get caught up in all of that. And so they're specifically training for those conditions because I guess those are the same conditions that they do encounter when they're overseas.
Right.
Sorry guys, I know I keep looking down, but it's because I keep seeing these and I want to make sure we're not stepping on them. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking at.
There's not much, but there's a lot of history here. At one point, this was a top secret military base.
It was. I mean, they were making modifications to warplanes in wartime. So, yeah.
It's crazy. We're doing this, and I think I never would imagine that we'd be learning so much. The channel started with just like, oh, where's parking? And now we're talking to you guys about the history. And I think it's so cool because you come here, we came here the first time completely oblivious.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there's that history is so important because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be here. But if you come here, like I know there's a good stop, but just take a moment to kind of appreciate like the history of this place. And we're really happy that it's still here. And luckily we got military over there, so we're hoping this stays open for a long time.
I am so glad that we finally came back and that we had a little more information this time when we came because it's so much cooler than the first time when we were here.
What did you just find out about the hangar?
So we were in the Daggett Aviation FBO building and we were looking at the photos on the walls because they have a ton of photos. And one of the photos at the very top, I think it was dated 1953, but I can't remember the exact date, but it had the date on the photo because we were looking to see what did this airport look like back in the day? And in 1953, they had 4 of those big hangars that we walked earlier.
Yeah.
So
I think that's why there's all that like empty space between that hangar and the squadron.
that would make sense.
Or the battalion, sorry.
Yeah,
And so every one of those was like
one
you're
of
saying,
those hangars.
Yeah, because as you guys saw when we pointed towards, and I said we're not gonna test how close we can get to the proximity, but there's that much space, and it's because it's 4 rows. That's crazy.
Yeah, that means there was a lot of activity going on here during
What
that.
you said? Everyone was like, every one of those rows could have been like 30, because they look the same length.
Yeah, roughly like 36 planes.
So 36 times 4. What is that? I don't know. Math. But again, another airport for you guys. Great visit. Now we know. Hopefully now you guys can see what this lounge looks like, what you can expect when you get here, and again, just some history to appreciate. So I'll see you guys next time at maybe another desert airport. We don't actually know yet the next one, right?
We don't?
I don't think so. Anyways, we'll see you on the next one. See you guys. one final note that I brought up during our arrival, and it's the transient parking hooks. As you can see, it's going to be a little hard to get your straps underneath the ground hooks. It's just something you should be aware of, especially because of the winds here. As we get ready to depart, I do want to discuss a couple of final topics. First, the run-up. Now, if you look at the charts, there's probably only one run-up, and it's on Alpha heading towards runway 08. But as you've seen, there's not much traffic here, so doing your run-up on the ramp is not a bad choice. Today, we elected to do the run-up holding short of runway 26. Now, if we happen to have VFR traffic come in, do a full stop taxi back, and then line up behind us, we would have done a slow taxi on the runway to let them go.
Barstow-Daggett traffic, Army 72455, override 15 to the north, be free change, take a VTR, Barstow.
Daggett traffic, Aero 1939 Hotel, crossing runway 22 at Charlie, Daggett. Go right, clear left.
As always, we want to show our appreciation, and first start with super thanks. We want to thank Chris and Tuffy for this week's super thanks. You guys are amazing, keep us flying, and we appreciate it so much. Next, we want to thank our YouTube members, Thomas, Gary, Pilot Chip, and Ron. Thank you so much for your support. And last but definitely not least, our Patreon members, Chris, Tony, Steve, Rich, Phil, Tyler, Michael, and Chase. We cannot thank you enough.
Daggett traffic, Aero 39 Hotel, clear of 22 at Charlie, Daggett.
The next topic I want to discuss is our departure, specifically our departure call. So in Corona, we always call SoCal TRACON on the ground, like I mentioned before. But I'm always honest about where I make not so great radio calls with you, and this is gonna be one of those times again. And it was because I was so used to how I read back my clearance to SoCal. For example, at the end of today's clearance, I will say the words void if not off in 3 minutes. Those words I say every time to Chino ground when we depart IFR out of Corona, which that, ladies and gentlemen, is called confirmation bias. Because I was so used to hearing the same thing over and over that here, I did not have a 3-minute window, I had an 18-minute window. So you might hear an audible confusion out of LA Center. And I'll be honest, I never paid attention to the current Zulu time Chino ground would tell me. I just knew be gone in 3 minutes. But this was such a great lesson to learn here for our future long cross-country trips. Pay attention to every single word ATC says. And from now on, I'll definitely be writing down the Zulu times even at Corona. And some of you might ask why I put this out there. These fumbled calls, these incomplete calls, these incorrect calls. And it's because I think as a student, I remember thinking that every single call had to be perfect. And for the students today, they need to know that even if you're flying 600 hours like I am today, or 6,000 or 10,000, that there's going to be days where you just don't get it right. But all that matters is that in the end, you get the correct information and you read it back correctly before you depart. And hopefully by hearing me mess up and eventually get it right, you'll do it right the first time, and it makes you look like a superstar with ATC.
Good morning, LA Center. Aero 1939 Hotel on the ground at Daggett, looking to pick up our IFR clearance to Chino.
All right, you ready to go now?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me call the sector, get the clearance, so stand by.
Okay.
And now we waited for approximately 5 minutes, which most of the time that's not a big deal. It's only 5 minutes, but when it's 5 minutes in 91-degree weather and you don't have air conditioning in your plane, it feels like forever, which is again another reminder. And I know I tell you guys this all the time, but if you're going in the desert, make sure you have water. The last thing you want to do is be dehydrated right before departing.
November 193 Niner Hotel, and I have your clearance advisement ready to copy.
Ready to copy.
All right, ATC clears November 193 Niner Hotel from Daggett Airport to Chino Airport via the Daggett 1 departure. Daggett, Apples, Victor 442, Paradise, then to Chino Airport. Maintain 10,000. Contact LA Center on 132.5, squawk 4600. Clearance void if not off by 1815. If not off by 1815, just advise LA Center of intentions.
Okay, so we are cleared to Chino via the Daggett 1 departure, Apples, Victor 442, Paradise, then Chino. Climb maintain 10,000 and frequency is 132.5 and squawk 4600 and void off if not off in 3 minutes.
So the clearance void time is not off by 1815. Current time is 1757.
Oh, okay. It's not off in 1857. Sorry.
And yeah, the clearance void if not off by 1815. If not off, current time is 1757 and 1/2.
Oh, got it. Okay. Void if not off in if not off at 1815. 39 Hotel.
All right, and I'll just want to confirm the route is Daggett 1 to Daggett VOR, then the Apples intersection, Victor 442, then Papa Delta Zulu, then to drive to the airport.
That is correct. So Daggett 1 optical departure to Daggett VOR, Apples, Victor 442, Paradise, then Chino.
All right, number 193 Hotel, and readback is correct, and you're released and have a safe flight.
Thank you very much for your help, sir. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that was a rough one. But now that you've made it through that, the more airports we visit, the more we realize just how massive the War Airport was just in SoCal, let alone the rest of the nation. You start connecting the dots and the area they cover is massive. And that is just the airports that are left, which a lot of them are gone today, which is mind-blowing. And they were all extremely busy. I think that's the part that is crazy to fathom. Every single one of these airports that are pretty desolate today were busy. The first time we departed this airport over a year ago, I remember thinking, now this is why we visit all these places, because you never know what you'll see or what history you're standing on. And even though today we just see the deterioration of a hangar shed that is still holding on strong against all odds, one day it will be gone, and we're so glad we got to see it in person. Because we see more than a shed. It's a piece of history that was so crucial to where we are today.
All right, Daggett traffic, over 1993 Niner Hotel, taking runway 26 for right downwind departure, Daggett.
Now last week was another popular video. We're starting to think you guys like the desert airports. You all came through with some fascinating comments. First, it was that I mispronounced Chiriaco Summit. I guess it's Chiriaco Summit. I think that's it. Don't worry, I'm sure I'll mispronounce something in the future. And next, it was interesting to hear how many of you had been to the airport or driven by it, but had never visited the museum. Again, we can't fault you. We weren't expecting much either, but we do hope that you visit it soon or maybe more after it cools down. And finally, we had a story of how a pilot in the 70s lost an engine at 11,000 feet, but successfully circled to land at Chiriaco Summit. But then that led to a whole chain of events, which by the end of reading his story, we were just tired for him. We were just so glad he made it safe. I swear we need to release a book of just all your comments. And we can't thank you enough for them. And we just want to make sure that you know we literally read every single comment and every single word, good or bad, because we know you put some effort into sharing something personal and we don't take that lightly. Even if it's just to say hi, we still appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, go fly, go discover.
Number 460 Lima Delta, are you up? Number 460 Lima Delta.
LA Center 460 Lima Delta, 10,500.
460 Lima Delta, LA Center, the Daggett altimeter is 2993.
2993, 0 Lima Delta.
Good morning, LA Center. Arrow 1939 Hotel out of Daggett on the Daggett 1 obstacle departure 3600.
1939 Hotel, LA Center. Roger that. Radar contact 2 miles north of the Barstow-Daggett Airport. Altitude indicates 3,500. And Daggett altimeter is 2993. If you could, reset your transponder and squawk 4675.
4675, 39er Hotel.
Hello, Center. Gulfstream 711 Victor Pop 380. Good ride.
Was it 771 Victor Papa or 711?
711 Victor Pop.
711 Victor Papa, this frequency is in error. It should be at Oakland 132.05.
3205. All right, we'll see you. Thanks.
See ya. Who else is checking in?
Oakland Center, Skies 4070, 270 descending 240 to cross Bluff.
Skies 4070, LA Center, Roger.
131 Charlie Romeo is with you, 10,500.
131 Charlie Romeo, LA Center, Daggett altimeter is 2993.
93.
Center, Cirrus 8 X-ray Tango 11000.
918 X-ray Tango, LA Center, Daggett altimeter is 298, correction is 2993.
903.
That's at 319, contact SoCal approach 134.0.
134.0, that's 319.
Papa Lima, descend and maintain flight level 200.
Center maintain 200, 5 Papa Lima.
Skies 4070, cross flavor at and maintain 14000. The Ontario altimeter is 3000.
G, cross flavor at maintain 14000, Skywise 4070.
Kayak 5, disregard.
LA Center, Hawker 50 Golf Papa with you on flight level 250 for 240.
Double Papa.
November 50 Golf Papa, LA Center, descend and maintain flight level 230.
Down on flight level 2300 Golf Papa.
Number 9996 uniform, you're going to Monterey, yeah?
We're going to start our turn now to Palmdale.
Roger that.
Los Angeles Center, TBM 969 Juliet Victor, flight level 243, descending flight level 240.
Number 969 Julie Victor, LA Center, descend and maintain flight level 230. Now to 2113, climb maintain flight level 230. Kayak 53, contact LA Center 125.72. Yeah.
Sierra Echo Juliet 9292, good afternoon, climbing 10,900 for 13,000.
1220 Alpha, LA Center, climb and maintain 14,000 normal speed.
Radar Sierra Echo Juliet 9292.
Sierra Echo Juliet 9292, LA Center, climb and maintain flight level 190.
Climb and maintain level 190 and proceeding direct Daggett. Sierra Echo Juliet 9292.
Thank you.
For 460 Lima Delta, contact L Center 126.35.
Again, 0 Lima Delta.
126.35.
They replaced
2635, 0 Lima Delta.
They replaced them.
FlexJet 323, climb and maintain flight level 190.
Maybe just send us to Fort Irwin.
For 1220 Alpha, climb and maintain flight level 190. Sierra Echo Juliet 9292, left turn to Las Vegas, Nevada.
Left turn direct to Lima Alpha Sierra, Sierra Echo Juliet 9292.
Lima Alpha Sierra, Sierra Echo Juliet 9292, Lima Alpha Sierra.
Lima Alpha Sierra direct, Sierra Echo Juliet 9292.
Number 50 Golf Papa, descend and maintain flight 21021.
Descend and maintain flight level 210, Golf Papa.
FlexJet 323, climb and table 230. SkyWest 4070, SoCal approach 127.0.
2070, good day, SkyWest 4070.
FlexJet 323, clear to Gorman, then direct Canada, then direct. FlexJet 323, after Gorman is Canada, C-A-N-D-A, then direct destination. Sierra Echo Juliet 9292, climb table 230.
230, Sierra Echo Juliet 9292.
Number 515 Papa Lima, descend maintain 14,014, the Palmdale altimeter 29998.
14,299.8, 5 Papa Lima.
Number 50 Golf Papa, LA Center 134.65.
3465 for Zero Golf Papa.
Number 918 X-Ray Tango, LA Center 134.65.
3465, 8 X-Ray Tango, bye-bye.
Somebody's having a good morning.
Sierra Echo Juliet 9292, contact LA Center 125.72.
125.72, Sierra Echo Juliet 9292.
Number 969 Juliet Victor, descend maintain flight 210.
Descend maintain flight level 2109 Juliet Victor.
LA, good morning, SkyWest 5931, 196, climb flight level 220.
Executive 308, L Center climb table 200.
Climb flight level 200, ExitJet 308.
FlexJet 323, L Center 128.37, normal speed. Number 1220 Alpha, climb maintain 16,000.
Yeah.
United 1260, L Center climb maintain flight level 190. SkyWest 5931 Center.
Yeah, 5931 with you, 20.6, climb flight level 220.
SkyWest 5931, L Center climb table 230.
I maintain flight level 230, SkyWest 5931.
220 Alpha, climbing table 230. Sky West 5931, LA Center 125.72.
Over to LA 2572, have a good one, Skywest 5931.
LA Center, Skylane 827 Lima Bravo, 11,500.
Rate 27 Lima Bravo, Center Daggett Altimeter 299 at 3.
903, 7 Lima Bravo.
Executive 308, climbing table 230.
Climb flight level 230, Executive 308.
Executive 308, contact LA 125.72.
2572, Executive 308.
Lotus 20 Alpha, contact LA Center 128.37. Number 131 Charlie Romeo, contact Joshua approach 124.55.
2455, Charlie Romeo.